The thread that connects your lives. Have you ever met someone for the first time yet felt as if you've known them forever? Or stumbled upon a moment so strange, so powerful, it whispered, "You've been here before." As we grow older, especially in our 50s, 60s, 70s and beyond, we begin to sense something deeper beneath the surface of everyday life. A quiet thread connects our blessings, our struggles, and our relationships stretching across decades, sometimes lifetimes. Many people believe that the life we live today is a blank slate. But ancient traditions, particularly in Eastern philosophy, suggest otherwise. The way you speak, the peace you feel in your heart, the kindness in your voice, or even the gentle curve of your smile all may be echoes of a life once lived. And what if your current joys, your peaceful home, your resilient health, your loving family weren't random? What if they were seeds you planted lifetimes ago? In today's reflection, I want to share with you 7 profound signs that you may be someone who has cultivated goodness in your previous lives. These are not superstitions. They are soulful reminders that life is not a one-time journey. It's a sacred continuum. And the more you understand the patterns that brought you here, the more powerfully you can walk forward. Let us begin. 1. A gentle heart that seeks no conflict, only peace. One of the clearest signs that someone has lived with wisdom in a previous life is the natural softness of their heart. Not weakness, but a deep inner calm that refuses to lash out or harm. If you've found that you don't crave wealth for its own sake, if you've never been one to boast, to compete, or to step on others to rise, your soul may be carrying the fruits of long-forgotten kindness. In Buddhist teachings, a heart that no longer clings is a heart that has seen through the illusions of this world. People like this often appear gentle, patient, and easy to be around. They rarely judge. They often forgive without being asked. And their peace tends to soften even the hardest people in the room. Science now shows that those who practice consistent compassion and gratitude tend to have lower levels of stress hormones like cortisol, better immune function, and longer lifespans. But long before science could explain it, ancient wisdom already knew, a kind heart is a strong heart. I once met an elderly woman in Vermont who spent her life volunteering for homeless shelters. She told me something simple but unforgettable. "It just feels like what I'm meant to do. Like I've been doing this long before I was born." And perhaps she was. Those who carry gentleness into this life often come from a place where they've suffered before, but instead of passing that pain forward, they transmuted it into healing. Into prayer. Into service. If your instinct is always to comfort the hurt, to defend the voiceless, to listen when no one else will, that is not learned behavior. That is soul memory. 2. A face that reflects inner kindness. We often say beauty fades with age, but true beauty only grows deeper. Some people, even in their 70s or 80s, radiate a softness that makes others want to sit beside them. It's not just in their skin or their smile. It's in their presence. It's in the peace behind their eyes. That kind of beauty does not come from cosmetics. It comes from character. According to Buddhist teachings, a person's physical appearance in this life is partially shaped by their behavior in past lives. Those who speak gently, who live honorably, and who treat others with care, often develop soft and balanced features. Not because they are trying to look a certain way, but because their essence shines through. Science agrees in its own way. Researchers in psychology have found that people who smile more often, who express compassion, and who show joy and gratitude tend to be rated as more attractive, even without physical symmetry. But more important than looking beautiful is being beautiful. And that is something your soul can carry across lifetimes. If people often describe you as warm, calm, or graceful, if children are drawn to you, if your presence seems to ease tension in a room, even before you speak, then your face may be reflecting the harmony you've spent lifetimes building. Think of it like this: just as anger etched itself into wrinkles, kindness also leaves a trace, one that glows, even in silence. 3. A life that moves in harmony, no matter the storm. Have you ever wondered why some people, even in the face of adversity, always seem to land on their feet? They don't brag. They don't panic. Somehow, the right people show up to help. The timing always works in their favor. Even when things go wrong, they quickly find a path forward. This isn't just luck. In many ancient traditions, it's believed that when a person accumulates deep merit in past lives, their current life unfolds with more ease. Obstacles dissolve. Doors open. Protection appears. In modern language, we might call these people lucky or blessed. But in spiritual terms, we might say their good karma has matured. If you've noticed that your life seems to attract gentle opportunities, that even your setbacks eventually lead to something better, that somehow you always find your way back to peace, this may not be your first time cultivating balance. Some people even have a unique gift. Their presence alone seems to shift the energy of a room. When they speak, others feel lighter. When they walk in, arguments quiet down. That calming influence is not accidental. It is the spiritual fragrance of someone who has lived humbly and offered kindness, life after life. You are not here by chance. The harmony you bring to the world was earned long before this lifetime began. 4. A marriage that feels like home. One of the most extraordinary signs of a soul with deep spiritual history is finding a life partner who feels uncannily familiar. You may finish each other's thoughts. You may feel safe in their silence. You may have met under strange circumstances, two lives crossing as if destiny had planned it. This isn't romantic fantasy. In many spiritual traditions, it's understood that people who were deeply bonded in a previous life often find each other again. Of course, not every relationship is easy. Sometimes our most powerful connections come with challenges because they are here to help us heal, repay, or grow. But when a couple holds love and respect through the hard seasons, when they lift each other up without keeping score, when their union feels purposeful, that, my friend, is more than affection. That is soul resonance. One of my patients, a retired nurse in Arizona, once told me about the man she married at 60. They met while volunteering at a veterans center. She said, "The moment I saw him, my heart remembered something my mind didn't." Decades later, they still walk hand in hand each morning, grateful for the time they have. And while they've both had losses and scars, together they feel whole. If you are blessed with a partner who brings out the best in you, who feels like home even in silence, cherish them. And if you are still waiting to find that person, know this: soul connections do not follow the clock. They follow redness. When your heart is open, the soul that remembers you will come. 5. Children who reflect grace back to you. There is an old saying in Eastern thought: if you want to know your past life, look at your current body. If you want to know your next life, look at your present mind. And if you want to know your past actions, look at your children. Some parents wonder why they've been blessed with children who are calm, generous, hardworking, or wise beyond their years. Others notice that even in times of stress, their children show unexpected maturity or emotional strength. This, too, may be a sign of spiritual merit. In Buddhist and Taoist traditions, it is believed that children do not arrive randomly. They are drawn by affinity, karma, and old soul ties. Sometimes, a child comes to repay a kindness from a previous life. Sometimes, they come to remind us of who we once were. A good-natured child is often a reflection of the household's energy but also of the karmic debt or blessing between parent and child. If your children are your pride, if they bring light into your life even during hard seasons, remember, this may be a reward from lives long past. Perhaps you once cared for the weak. Perhaps you raised orphans. Perhaps you offered prayers for children you never had. And now, your spirit is receiving those blessings. Honor that bond by continuing to be the kind of parent your soul would be proud of: patient, forgiving, and full of grace. 6. A soul drawn to spiritual truths. Have you ever felt a strange pull toward the sacred, even without formal religion? You may not remember specific teachings. You may not chant or meditate every day. But when you hear certain words like compassion, rebirth, surrender, or karma, something inside you softens. You feel like you are being reminded, not taught. This is often a sign that your soul has studied truth before. In traditions around the world, it's said that those who practiced spiritual disciplines in past lives like meditation, prayer, selfless service, or even silence often carry that wisdom into the next. They are drawn to sacred books, gentle teachers, or places of peace. They may sense the energy of others intuitively. They may feel a quiet joy when alone with nature, the sky, or simple stillness. One gentleman I met during a hospice care visit used to be a truck driver. He never considered himself spiritual, but told me he often talked to the stars during long night drives. He would pray without knowing it was prayer. He would forgive without knowing it was divine. And near the end of his life, he said something that made my heart still. I don't know much about God, but I think we've met before. Spiritual remembrance doesn't always come through scriptures. It often arrives as humility, kindness, and deep respect for life itself. If you feel connected to something bigger than yourself, if you've always sensed that your journey is part of a greater unfolding, you are not new to this path. You've been walking it for lifetimes. 7. A heart that lets go and lets life flow. Perhaps the most powerful sign that a soul has matured across lifetimes is the ability to surrender with grace. In youth, we try to control everything. We resist loss. We fear change. But as we grow older and wiser, we begin to see life differently. We stop blaming others. We stop forcing outcomes. We learn to say, this, too, is part of the journey. Letting go is not giving up. It is trust. It is knowing that what is meant for you will come and what is not will pass. This wisdom doesn't come easily. Often, it is the result of deep soul work, perhaps even from previous lives where you suffered, clung, and finally learned to release. If you find that you can face change without falling apart, that you can forgive those who never apologized, that you can accept the timing of life without complaint, then you are carrying a deep spiritual inheritance. You have become like the sky, vast, steady, untouched by passing clouds. And this strength, this softness, is what allows others to lean on you in their storms. Your presence becomes sanctuary. Your silence becomes peace. Letting go is not forgetting. It is remembering what matters most. The soul remembers what the mind cannot. If even one of these messages felt familiar, if they stirred something quiet but deep inside you, trust that. Your soul remembers what the mind cannot. You are not starting from zero. You are continuing a sacred journey. Everything you are today, your peace, your kindness, your family, your resilience, is not by accident. It is the result of seeds planted across time. Some in pain. Some in love. But all with purpose. And now, in this life, you have the chance to continue that sacred work. To plant new seeds for the future. To let your wisdom ripple outward to your children, your neighbors, your community. Even to strangers you'll never meet. You are part of a beautiful continuum. And if this message has touched you in any way, I warmly invite you to subscribe to our channel. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What resonated with you today? Which sign did you recognize in your own life? Let us know. Your story matters. Your presence matters. Thank you for walking this path with us. May your days be filled with peace and your heart remain open to the blessings both seen and unseen that life continues to offer. See you in the next video. And until then, may every step you take be filled with quiet purpose.